The Democrats turn up the heat on Trump. They're going to the courts, and the Supreme Court even weighs in defending Trump. Lawfare is in the air, and it almost all has to do with these are all cases across the board involving DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, run by Elon Musk. This is kind of a great front for Trump to have all of the Democrats going after that shiny piece of foil over there, and he can go over here and run the country. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. This is where the happy patriots are. I have an article here. Check it out from Forbes. There's going to be a lot of advertising and spam all over this background because of the way they lay out their sites. So with apologies, I'm going to read this and do a little commentary here. Here are all the major lawsuits against Trump and Musk. The Trump administration asks Supreme Court to let it fire an ethics official. So the question is, will Trump be able to get his firings in? Or do they have, because this is the big rub, right? If all of these agencies are technically under the executive office, under the office of the presidency, if the president can't fire one of these appointments, then this person who's in a government job, if they can't be fired by Congress, right? Because they're not, in this case, they weren't under the Congress. In this case, they're directly under the executive. If an executive can't fire someone, then there's no higher authority to get rid of these people. So Trump's trying to get rid of this guy. That's what I understand of the news, okay? The Trump administration asked the Supreme Court on Sunday to allow the firing of a top ethics official after lower courts blocked the move. Now, those lower courts are almost always more politicized than the Supreme Court. The Associated Press reports, marking the first case of the second Trump administration to make it to the nation's highest court amid a slew of legal actions as Democrats and others fight Trump and cost-cutting czar Elon Musk. Let that settle in. The Democrats are fighting Trump and they're fighting cost-cutting. That's what their brand is right now. Here's the timeline of all the major court cases, okay? This is yesterday, February 16th. The Treasury Department asked the Supreme Court to throw out a lower court ruling that temporarily blocked Trump's firing of government ethics watchdog Hampton Dillinger, the AP reports. By the way, the AP was also found to be on the dole, making money off the government with U.S. aid donations, the Associated Press. After District Judge Amy Berman Jackson ruled Trump, quote, plainly violated the law by firing the ethics official. So does the president have a right to fire an ethics official at the Treasury Department? The Trump administration went to the Supreme Court after a panel of judges at a DC-based federal appeals court ruled 2-1, and that one is usually a Bush appointment, and the other two are usually going to be a Biden, Clinton, or Obama appointment. The federal appeals court ruled 2-1 to uphold the lower court's ruling, shielding Dillinger. Now, there's threats of some of these DC judges of impeaching them, whom former President Joe Biden appointed to, there you go. Joe Biden appointed this Dillinger guy. Former President Joe Biden appointed to a 5-year term at the Office of Special Counsel. By the way, you guys can tell me this in the chat, should a president anywhere be allowed to appoint someone for longer than his tenure? He appoints him for a 5-year term. Office of Special Counsel, which handles issues like protecting whistleblowers against retaliation. Okay, here's February 14th, the U.S. District Judge John Bates, whom Musk and his allies had previously been attacking for issuing an unfavorable opinion, sided with Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency. So this one, Musk did not like this Judge John Bates guy for issuing an unfavorable opinion to Musk. I can't remember what that lawsuit was. I just read it the other day. But this time, they came out in support of Musk and DOGE. So they're going, yay, thank you for the victory. I guess you were good after all. And declined to issue a restraining order blocking DOGE from accessing information at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
So like, for example, we have this thing called the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, CFPB.
That's the CFPB.
Which was it's sort of Elizabeth Warren's personal agency that she gets to control.
That's the one that involved banks, Barney Frank is what that CFPB involved.
And it's an independent agency that just gets to run and do whatever it wants. If you read the Constitution, like there is no such thing as an independent agency.
And that's the one that Maxine Waters was out saying, hands off the CFPB. Okay. And the Departments of Labor, HHS, Health and Human Services, which they should be able to go into and look at. So this judge was right to not issue the restraining order that these lower courts were trying to put on Trump and Elon Musk, as labor unions had asked for. So this is all tells you everything you need to know about the Democrat Party and corrupt judges, that this was under the request of a labor union. Unions do not want to reform government. It's where that's their pig trough. With Bates swatting down the legal arguments the unions had made, even as he acknowledged his, quote, serious concerns about DOGE's access today. Okay, you made your serious concerns. That was last week's big narrative, was the Democrats were saying DOGE they have access to sensitive data. I'm more afraid of our government or the FBI having access to sensitive data than I am of DOGE. Now that could just be my own tribalism weighing in. A federal judge ordered the Trump administration to temporarily lift a freeze on foreign aid, which began 3 weeks ago, noting that the officials have not offered any explanation for why a blanket suspension of all congressionally appropriated foreign aid was a rational precursor to reviewing programs, the judge said. So this one is going to be tougher because it has congressional appropriated the foreign aid. Is the president allowed to shut it down if the Congress appropriated the aid, but it's being squandered, wasted, or being part of fraud? And they're saying that the president can't do that, but we'll see if it goes up to a higher court. 14 states led by New Mexico, all Democrat states, sued Musk, Trump, and DOGE, alleging the power given to Musk by Trump is unconstitutional and that Musk, quote, has roamed through the federal government, unraveling agencies, accessing sensitive data, and causing mass chaos and confusion for state and local governments, federal employees, and the American people. Now remember, this was saying that the appointment of Musk was unconstitutional. This is how Aileen Cannon went after Jack Smith, saying that his appointment was unconstitutional by the DOJ, by Merrick Garland, that he did not have the authority to have that kind of power. Is it plenary power? I forgot the word. They're using that same argument against Musk, by the way, President Trump absolutely has the power to hire a contractor like Musk, and he's not even getting paid. February 13th, Baltimore-based Judge Brendan A. Hurston blocked Trump's directives restricting transgender health and gender-affirming care for people under the age of 19, multiple outlets reported, putting the restrictions on hold as the lawsuit brought by transgender youth moves forward. That is not going to stick with the Supreme Court. Just so you can see, this is one of the few places left for Democrats to argue against Trump is in their appointed judges. These are all Biden and Obama and Clinton appointments. And most of them are going to be in Washington, D.C., New York, and in these liberal states that are going after him. You won't find a Republican one. You won't find a conservative one. You won't find a normal appointment anywhere from someone on the right making these claims. So this is just the Democrats doing their last form of power is to work through the judges and try to sue, or, they always believe that judges create law and make law instead of interpret law. I don't think the Supreme Court wants to take most of these. When they do take them, though, they will smack them down. Almost always they'll be in Trump's favor just because they're conservative judges and they believe in following the Constitution. But because they're conservative also, I don't think they want to get involved. They don't believe it's their job. I'm Doug, in exile.